What's up, everybody? We are back in the Barefoot Garage. After the Gambler 500, we took a little bit of a break, been hanging out with the family, cleaning, just trying to get things organized, and I'm ready to hit the shop again. And this time, it's time to give some love to my first bike. So we're going to do a little refresh on here. I'll show you what we're doing. I've already started on it, and we'll see what else is going on in the Barefoot Garage. So we got two projects going on in the garage. I've already gotten started on one, something I've been wanting to do for a while. This is my very first bike. It's a 73 Suzuki TC 100K Blazer. So it's got a super long name, but this bike I got over 20 years ago. It's the bike I learned to ride on. It's the only bike I had for probably about 15, 16 of those years. But this bike actually used to belong to my grandfather. And so he rode it back in the day with my mom, my dad, my uncles. And so when I was in middle school, they moved out of their house and I bought it from him and have been keeping it ever since. So it has just not gotten a ton of use. It does have a plate and it is street legal. It's still running 6-volt lights. I have the toolkit, like I have the manual. You can see it's still showing only about 6,000 miles. And so it's just time for a freshen up. The Kickstarter could be run basically by hand. And so we're gonna start with the top end in this. I was able to find used or new old stock, actually, a Weisico piston, a little oversized piston for it. So I went ahead and pulled the jug off, pulled the exhaust off, and let's take a look at what that looks like. I've got it up here on the bench. So let's meet the tiniest little piston you have ever seen. A little bit to my surprise, this is the original piston. It still says Suzuki on the inside. It's hard for me to show you guys that. And it is not overbored. This is the stock 49 millimeter bore in it. And so I got a one size oversized. You can go 1 over, 2 over, like 40 over, and 80 over. So you can get a lot of pistons for this. It does have a cast iron cylinder. It's a little bit unusual for a two-stroke because it is a rotary valve. So it's got your traditional port in here for the exhaust. And then it's got these weird ports that come all up around the three sides for the intake. So we're going to send this out and get the cylinder honed and overboard. We got new piston and rings. I'm actually going to pop these rings off and just kind of look at what the end gap is because it appears to be pretty large. You can see that this piston had some blow by. And when I took the base gasket off for this cylinder, you can see a section of it was totally missing. So if we look at our cylinder here, you can see that we were just losing compression and crankcase pressure and probably some of our intake charge there. Cool thing about two-stroke, one of the coolest things about this bike is it must have been known to foul plugs. So it's actually set up to hold 2 plugs at once, which is pretty cool. So you foul a plug, you literally just pull the plug wire, switch sides, and you flip it over to the other side. So this doesn't really need any work. I'll just give this a quick clean up. It's got these cool little isolators in here. They had them in the cylinder too. So that is the first project going on in the garage. This is going to be a little bit of a just a fun thing to do in the summer. Well, it's not really good riding season. The Porsche is taking a nap because it doesn't have air and it does not go in the rain. It's not great for that. So other than the top end, the bike's going to get some new tires. As far as I know, these IRC tires are a weird size. They're a 19-inch front, 18-inch rear. Have been on the bike as long as I've had it and probably a lot longer than that. So they are ancient. They are hard as a rock. So the cool thing is you can still get a dual sport IRC tire. So that's what we're going to get. That's the front. And the back being kind of an 18-inch, which is an unusual size, but it is a 3-inch wide, so it's super, super narrow. So we're gonna throw some tires on there. You can get a reproduction seat cover that has the Suzuki printed on it. That was really important to me that we kept that on there. We will probably go ahead and get a 6-volt battery for it and just give this a good tune-up and clean over. I'm debating about getting the tank sent out to get a liner put in. I've heard really good things about the cream, really bad things about it. But there are some companies out there that will do a painted tank liner and preserve that. So We'll give the carburetor a clean up. We got a new air filter for it. Maybe put a new set of bars on it since I tweaked these when I was a kid. And really, that's it with the bike. We're going to get it registered, and we'll take it out for some two-stroke adventures. So check back in once we get our cylinder back, and we'll see what's going on with the bike. So this is the other project that arrived at the garage. If you watched our Gambler 500 video, a friend of mine locally here has a Baja Bug, and this is actually the engine out of the Baja Bug. So it's probably about 20 years since this engine was built, from what he's told me. It's got the dual carburetors. It's a pretty well-built motor. It's got a cam in it. It's got a big bore in it. I don't know the size. I'm not as familiar with these Type 1 engines. But he brought it over, and we're going to tear it down and just take a look at the cylinders. He ran a compression test. We got a low compression on a couple of cylinders. So something cool to get into, just get an engine rebuild. This engine stand has been in my attic since my brother had a Type 1. So just a fun little thing we are going to take a look at, and I'll show you guys some of the inside of our Type 1 engine as we go along. So bonus project, it's time to give the 701 some love. It has just been sitting here trying to keep it from getting dirty while we're working on the Naughty truck, while working on the Porsche, and all the other things. So this thing is going to get some work. It needs an oil change. If you come and look at the clutch fluid and brake fluid, they are disgusting and black. And so we're going to probably try and get some speed bleeders and flush that. But the 701 is going to get a little bit of attention here. It really needs tires, it needs fluid changes. I really would like to put an intake on it and things like that. So just get it going, and maybe we'll take it out for a little spin and do a little moto vlogging while we're here too. So this is kind of just as I have time here. The bike takes like 2 different oil filters and a screen and special oil. So it's like $100 for an oil change on this. That's almost as much as the Power Stroke. So this is going to be coming soon. So that's it from the Barefoot Garage tonight. What we got coming up. The Naughty truck is safe and sound with my buddies over at Retro Renos. Taking a little break from that thing. We're not really going to use it too much until the next Gambler. So we've got some work to do on that. That's going to be coming soon. But for now, we're going to focus on the Type 1 and the 2-stroke. And keep checking in for more content for the Barefoot Garage.